Hey, welcome to today's episode of the Hive with Us podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Martinez. Today I have a special guest, Mr. Troy Holt. We're going to get into all the things he does, but he's a fellow podcast host of the Troy Talk Show. Definitely go check his show out. Please welcome our guest, Troy. How you doing today?
I am well, Daniel. First of all, thank you for allowing me to come and be a part of your podcast, and it's just truly an honor. I'm truly grateful for the opportunity to come and be here.
Yeah, so I interviewed Troy interviewed me on his podcast, and towards the end of it, it might have been after the call or at the end of the episodes. He's like, "I'm not going to do more podcasts." I'm like, "Guess what? Just because you said it, we're going to get you on our podcast, and we're going to do a podcast swap here." But it's one of those things where, like, if you don't say what you want, you never get it. So
that's true.
I didn't know Troy was looking to do more podcasts, but here we are. He said it, and now I hope you guys get some value today. One of the first questions I like asking is, what part of the country are you from? How long have you been there?
Sure. I'm in Pensacola, Florida. I've been here since 1989, originally from Nashville, Tennessee, and I got here via the Navy.
How long were you in the Navy?
I did 3 years. I did one tour, got out, and been in Pensacola ever since.
Awesome. Appreciate your service.
Thank you.
What did you do in the Navy while you were there for 3 years?
Yeah, I was in a position called AZ, or Aviation Administration Man. So I basically I was on the aviation side, and I did administration on the aviation side.
Okay, awesome. That sounds like it was a long time ago.
Was it? Yeah. Hey, yes, it was. I joined the Navy in 1988.
1988.
Yeah, so I'm at my age.
Oh man, I wasn't even born yet. I wasn't even born yet. That's awesome. No, that's awesome. I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate all the servicemen that help out forever long. These help out with the armed services, and whether they're in combat or not, it's all important. And I appreciate everybody that does that. So first of all, we'll mention that. So tell us a little bit about what you do. And one thing I really liked about your bio, and for everybody, you go to hivewithus.com and check out Troy Holt's bio. He says he's the Chief Encouragement Officer. I thought that was really good. That was really cool. So
here's my pitch. This is my elevator pitch. So my name is Troy. I own a company called Troy Holt Consulting. I'm the CEO. The CEO stands for Chief Encouragement Officer. My title is my personality. Truly, it's my personality. I'm an encourager. So when I say Chief Encouragement Officer, that's my personality. But what I actually do, I'm a certified financial educator, and I teach people how money works. In America, it's worldwide, about 70% of the people are illiterate when it comes to money. And I just educate people, show people how money really works. And that's what I do in my business.
Are you a financial planner?
I'm not a financial planner, but I do have some certifications. I'm eligible to go and get the CFP, Certified Financial Planner, but I didn't want to pay the money and the time to do that. So I have a couple of designations, but CFP, it's one of the top tier certifications.
Yeah, I talked to a financial planner on the podcast before. That's why I asked. I know a little bit about a lot of things, especially podcasting and talking to different type of guests. You learn a lot.
Yeah.
Variety of people.
Right.
Chief Encouragement Officer. So you're looking for people that have never invested before, looking to invest into something to maybe build a better future. Like, what's your typical client look like?
So my typical client is the average American who they have a sense of money, but they don't have the direction. So we talk about what we call the 7 money milestones, and there's a roadmap or a blueprint to financial wealth or generational wealth, and it's financial education is 1. Number 2 is proper protection. Number 3 is emergency fund. Number 4 is debt management. Number 5 is cash flow. 6 is building wealth, and 7 is protecting wealth. And so we take someone through. Not always everything is a boom, 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 boom. It may take some time, but it's a roadmap, and we show them how to get there by putting all those things in place and dealing with those issues. And in America, many people they don't have that education. Like, what is the rule of 72? People say, what is that? Rule of 72 basically is take your interest rate that you're getting. So if you're getting 1% in a savings account and you divide it by 72, then that is the answer is how long it takes your money to double. So you're getting 1% and you divide it by 72, it's going to take 72 years for your money to double. So we talk about that. The rule of 72 and then we show them how they can move their money in other things to be able to get better than 1%, because a bank, people are getting zero. Nationally, the average is 0.9%, but some of the large banks is 0.1%.
Yeah, that's it's definitely. I wish they would teach like the basic financial literacy. And I think as you're covering that with a lot of new people, but they covered that in high school. I mean, it's such a necessity once you turn 18, and you got to.
True.
I always laugh at the people on these kids online. They get their first job, and then IRS took 25% of my
Right.
paycheck.
Right.
It's always very funny. It's always very funny to me.
Yes.
'Cause I remember for me, I had this,
Yeah.
not that I knew about it, but I was just like, they take that much of my paycheck, so I'm really only getting paid
Right.
$6 an hour. What?
Yep. And when you total it up, you know, and you say, "Oh man, I got this a $2,300 check," and then you get it as $1,800. Well, what happened to the other $500? You know, taxes. You know, it got you. Yeah.
Taxes. It's the one thing that hits everybody.
True.
No, I wish more people. I wish more people covered financial literacy as a whole, and I think providing financial literacy to the young age is important as well. Just because, like I
Agreed.
said, if they don't understand the basics, I hate to see it too. Because like one of the things that always blows my mind is all the people that win the lottery. They come into large sums of wealth, and it's just gone in 5 years on average.
True.
5 years. So it's one of those things where like you can think you have all the right information, but whatever you don't know is what's going to prevent you from getting to where you want to be in life. And if you do get it and didn't earn it, you could frivolously burn it all essentially over time.
And to your point, Daniel, even some people that win lottery many times don't realize, you know, taxes. So they thinking they get all this money, then they get taxes, and then a lot of them they still financial illiterate. They just got a lot of money, so they don't know what to do with it. Now, I don't gamble, so I wouldn't play the lottery. But let's say I came into an inheritance of money. So I'm gonna get my CPA, my estate planning attorney. We gonna get together. We gonna design a plan, and me as a financial educator advisor, I want to make this laugh, and I want to leave it as generational for my grandkids. And so I want to design a plan for that instead of just going spending money. I want to sit down and to make it last and be very wise with it. So many people don't do that. They go spend in a house or a car and things like that, in a big house and car. And for me, those things don't really matter to me. Would I like a new car? Yeah, but I mean, it's not anything. I have a 2008 Nissan Altima and a 2001 Honda Civic. So I got two old cars paid off. So so going to get a brand new car, it really doesn't move me, as some people. And I'm not knocking anybody who go do that, but it just doesn't move me.
So one thing I think I really want to talk about on this show is asset protection. So let's talk about maybe you come into wealth, maybe you have a good paying job, and you want to start protecting your assets. Are you recommending them to attorneys or RRAs, 401ks to go that route? Or it's kind of individual based stuff, whatever their goals are and necessities are at that time? Because it seems like you kind of lay out the whole roadmap, but somebody might be already at phase 3 versus phase 1 where you have to start from scratch.
Yeah.
This show is sponsored by HiveMind CRM. It is more than just a CRM. It is a real estate and business mastermind that comes with an all-in-one CRM. You can have unlimited websites and users. You can call, text, RVM, and email all in one user interface. And you can set up custom automations for any type and multiple businesses. 65% of companies start using a CRM system within the first 5 years of business. Once implemented, the HiveMind will save you on marketing, give you more time, and make more money. One of our users had his first $100,000 month using our system in June. We want to see you automate and accelerate your business. Text us at 210-972-1842 for future meetings, and of course to get our $1 course on how to make more than 6 figures on one land deal. You can schedule your free demo today at hivemindcrm.io.
Yeah, it's the latter what you said. So everybody's situation is different. And so I work with them on an individual case-by-case basis. So part of that asset of protection is, do they have a will? Do they have healthcare power attorneys? Now, I don't offer these documents. This is a attorney, but I'm going to recommend you get these things in place. One simple thing that I'm going to tell them, Daniel, is do you have who's your beneficiary? So everybody, your bank accounts, 401ks, make sure you have beneficiaries. Then the second thing I'm going to say is don't have minor children as beneficiaries on these accounts, like the life insurance. And the reason why, because if you have minor children are not allowed to be able to receive funds like that. So what's going to happen is at the end of if you pass, then whoever is handling your estate, they're going to have to hire an estate planning attorney to get a guardianship. So that's money that's going to be taken away from that what you left because no preparation was taken. So if you're going to do beneficiaries, get somebody that you really trust, that you know is going to take care of those children, or you can just set up a UTMA you can put that in there. That's not the best option, but I think the best option is someone who you really trust, that you know will take care of your family in the event of your death. But those mistakes people make, they make their minor children beneficiary. I got a friend of mine, and he's a client, and he said I could share this story. So his wife passed. They had been married 25 years, and his wife passed about 2 years ago. They had minor children, and what happened was she had a policy through work, and she named him as a beneficiary, and three minor children. But one of them, I think she was 18, but the other two were minor. So she had one of them wasn't even born. So she had the children as beneficiary. So he had to hire an attorney. He had to pay court costs and fees to prove that he's a guardian of his own children in order to get them the funds. And they got the funds, but that's money that they could have kept in their family without spending. So those are some of the things we look at when we try to recommend it.
So what's the document in place that they need to have in place to prevent? Because like I've done documentation like this. I mean, as you get into adulthood and have kids, you start putting beneficiaries. So like, I think the way I set my stuff up is it goes to either my spouse, like my stuff goes to my spouse, or my spouse does go to me, and then it goes to my children. So you're saying you need to have like an independent third party that's a beneficiary to receive all that stuff just in case both of us pass?
No, what I'm saying is like your life insurance policy. If you had just named your children as the beneficiary and not your wife. Okay. So you got minor children as beneficiary, which is not wise. It's not the wise thing to do. So some happen, they can't receive the money because they're minor. Now, when you get complex, you may look at, setting up a trust because the trust, you can take an insurance policy, and the insurance policy is owned by the trust, and then the trust can be the beneficiary. So when you pass, the policy goes into the trust, and then have set up parameters of how the trust is directed. So because you don't know how your children are going to be when you gone, and maybe you pass in at 25. I have one son, but I have 3 grandchildren. So different personalities. One may spend it all, but the other one may save it. So you never know. So you want to be able to control it. But everybody doesn't need a trust. It's a case-by-case basis. Some people do, but everybody should have a will, which basically say, hey, this is how I want my assets to be distributed. And many people in America don't have a will. 2 people, Prince and Aretha Franklin, didn't have no estate plan, no wills, no anything. So now held up in court for court. I think they settled Aretha Franklin. Chadwick Boseman didn't have no. Didn't have an estate plan. So a lot of the money, I think it went half to his wife and then half to his parents or something like that, because no estate plan. And I fought the people that passed, but also the people around them that's supposed to be their manager and helping them didn't say, hey, let's do these things, and get these things together.
I'm really glad you mentioned that too, because I was going to mention Chadwick Boseman, like I said, but it's one of those things where even people that operate at a high level don't have the basics in place.
Correct.
Like if you have assets to pass down, make sure you follow the proper procedures to make sure all the stuff is going to move properly.
But Daniel, you're in real estate, so you want to make sure when you pass, it's set up that you can distribute it, and it stays in the family, and those your children, your grandchildren, it stays in the family.
Yeah, I know for us real estate basis, they always advise us to put your property in a trust. That way, that it avoids probate
Mm.
and it just passes the
Yep.
beneficiary.
Correct.
So
Definitely.
there's a lot. Like I said, there's a lot of hangups that come with it. But I think it's one of those things where like seeking an advisor, understand what you're getting into. If you have assets, what assets you need to cover in what way, and really understanding the full facet of your prior and end of life planning. I think like
Yeah.
one thing that's guaranteed is always death.
True. True. And they say taxes, but definitely death.
Definitely death. I was gonna say death. I was gonna say death and taxes, but so
Yeah.
the real estate
Right.
investors avoid taxes somehow.
Yeah. That's a good thing.
So I was gonna say only death.
Yeah. Right.
No, I think it's a cool avenue to be on because, like you said, so many people need the basics.
They
Um,
do.
they need the basics to be done properly for them. Someone's on their side to really get them to the point where they need to protect their assets because it's
Correct.
such an important thing. We see all the time of like people that get their property passed in probate, and then
Yeah.
it's just craziness happens between the family or the attorneys or all this extra nonsense that could have been prevented just with simple
Mhm.
paperwork.
And then another thing that I see and hear sometimes is that there's never been a conversation with the family, and then there's nothing set up, and I know when my mom passed, I had to go find stuff, because she passed unexpectedly,
Yeah,
and so had to go find. Did she have it? But she had told me she had insurance through her job, but I don't know what else she had. So I had to find a checkbook and go through, the checkbook and such and such and such. So like for me, my wife, 'cause I handle all our affairs. So I've created a document, and so it has the policy numbers on there, the number to call, because I got policies on my grandchildren and all of that. So she can just take that sheet and she can just call the numbers because the policy number and the numbers on there, and I have a little safe in my house, and she can just call those numbers. I know if something happened to her, she's gonna be to me, she's gonna be distraught. Me, I'm a little bit level headed and not emotional, so I can handle it. But with her, I know her, so I want to make sure she can handle all that.
no, it's one thing. It's one thing. Like I said, I've been thinking about more as I get older because my kids are getting, not that they're older, but they're 5, 5, 5, 3, 2 right now. So it's one of those things where like as I start accumulating assets, I need to protect myself and make sure all this stuff is
Yeah,
set up at the will and make sure there's an account of assets.
and
you
I
know,
say, Daniel, shout out to you and your wife for having multiple children, and and small children at that. Man, my wife, I have one son, 29-year-old son. So, so my heart goes out to y'all to have multiple small children.
it's fun. It's fun. I think it'll be better once they go to school, but right now it's fun. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
So so how long you been in like this education space as far as consulting, and it sounds like this is really your passion from
It
hearing.
is. Yeah. Yeah. I've been in the industry itself about 23 years. And so kind of what happened, I started looking at uh, the wealth gap, especially the racial wealth gap. And I
100%.
start focusing on that and seeing that the numbers were very disparity. And then I said, hey, I want to start really focusing on, especially African Americans getting us, to a point. And I'm not going to be able to close the gap by myself, but if I can help one, and my practice is not exclusive to African Americans, because I'll work with anyone, but it's just we have one of the biggest need, and then also Latino there's a big gap there also for them. I think theirs a little bit better than African Americans, but African Americans we have a big wealth gap.
Yeah, I think it's important that all the assets. I think this is the crazy thing about like time and asset accumulation. It's usually generations time. Like one of the
Yeah,
biggest reasons why there is that wealth gap in general is just that they were able to acquire knowledge and pass it down and pass down those
correct.
assets effectively and that's why they have the upper hand.
True. And they started, hundreds of years ago, and we're just getting started, and we're trying to, catch up, and then we're trying to learn and then set up a generational wealth, and a lot of it came through home ownership. Go back to real estate. It came through home ownership, but remember, African Americans, we had to deal with redlining. We had to deal with the government, which was part of the redlining. The government, society. So certain people didn't want us in certain areas. You had the government that they actually put out. It was a bill in the early 1930s. Started this, and then the red line, and then also the society. Now, the fourth area that is a challenge is us. As a people, we've got to take some responsibility. Some of the things we haven't done. Sometimes we're sometimes some of the biggest consumers instead of producers, and sometimes we buy a lot of liabilities instead of assets, and so we've got to take partial responsibility also for this wealth gap.
Yeah, I also want to mention too is that even like the mortgages, those are mortgage discrimination, so they wouldn't even allow them to own houses.
True.
So I do want to mention that too, because like I said, for everybody here, like you may not see in the right foot, or you weren't passed down assets or information and all that stuff. This is where you change it right now, and you make a better future for you and your family and your descendants moving forward.
True.
You can't change the past and what happened and what happened to your people as a whole, but it's one of those things where you have to make the decision. I'm going to do better. I'm going to do better for my family. I'm going to set them up better for my family. I'm going to utilize the time I have on this earth to create a better future for them, because that's what really matters.
True.
And hopefully they can make a change. And this is where I think I always talk about like generational stuff like this all the time.
Yeah. Yes.
It's not my job to hold the line and make sure they do what's right. It's just my job to teach them, so hopefully they make the right decisions, because I might not be here forever.
Correct.
To guide them and show them the way. So
True.
it's just I'm here to produce the assets and hopefully pass down the knowledge for the time I have with them, and hopefully they make the right decision, because I'm not going to be here forever.
True. And Daniel, I want to just kind of correct you. I'm being funny here. You won't be here forever. Me, you or I will be here forever.
100%. 100%. No, it's such a great topic. It's such a great topic in general. Like I said, I appreciate the mission. It's such a large task to carry, or to even attack.
Yeah,
it's such a large task, because when you really look at the numbers and the people affected by it, it's millions of people.
It is.
So
it is.
I hope somebody listens today and reaches out, because this is something that could change. Maybe not our generation, but the generations coming up in the right direction.
Yep, definitely.
In the right direction. There's something I saw online, was that if more people put insurance on their loved ones, it would stop and prevent all the killings, because insurance people are they're the gangsters.
I've heard that too. Yeah, I heard. And one thing that people don't realize, life insurance is probably the least expensive way for a person to leave an inheritance to the beneficiary.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't want to get into the weeds, but you got term and permanent insurance. And let's say somebody buy a $500,000 term policy, and they do a 30-year term. They're paying maybe it depends on the age and a lot of other factors, but they're paying $30 a month for a $500,000 in term, and they pass 50 or 15, where their beneficiary has got $500,000, whoever they named the beneficiary. That's one of the least expensive ways to leave an inheritance, to your beneficiaries. Now, there's other ways, but life insurance is one of the least expensive ways. You get on the permanent side, you can not only leave a death benefit, but you also can build cash in there, and the cash grows tax free. So that's another strategy. But my point is that paying $50 a month, for let's say 60 years. I'm just throwing a number out there. it's still less expensive than trying to generate, a $5 million portfolio, which you can. But I'm just saying it's the least expensive way to leave an inheritance to your beneficiaries that is not costly. And if people can grab that concept, they can say, oh, well, let me make sure I protect myself in the event, because we all won't, like you said, we all gonna die one day, and so we just don't know when. And
I have an interesting topic I want your take on. End of life care, I know, is becoming progressively more expensive, and a lot of people think they have enough but aren't properly planning for end of life care, just because, as me in my 30s, it may be exorbitant amount with inflation and other factors, and maybe a crazy expense in the future. So, what advice do you have on end of life care or end of life preparation towards caregiving? Because I have the reason why I asked this, because my wife has an aunt transitioning into that she possibly needs care, and I think somebody else that I know too is going through that as well, where it's one of those things where like they had a high paying job. People of that age had what's the Social Security and all. They're getting all the benefits that we don't necessarily have access to anymore.
Yeah,
but it's those things where end of life care is becoming inexorbitantly expensive. And you need to prepare for that.
Yeah, so this is another area that I'm kind of passionate about. So number one is one of the biggest fear of seniors, especially baby boomers at this time, is running out of money. Also, with that, they say about 60, let me see, what's the number? 70% of people 65 and over will need some type of form of long-term care. 70% of people over 65. And what's happening, so when I first started in the industry, the focus was on retirement planning. But what the people failed to really incorporate it, we kind of knew about long-term care, but what people really didn't anticipate, the skyrocketing cost of healthcare. So the skyrocketing cost of healthcare has gone up. And so therefore, people don't understand is we got a lot of baby boomers retiring. We are in a mess, and it's going to be a bigger mess in the state of Washington right now. They passed a law. So they passed a law, and they put it on hold, but they passed a law that said that they're charging a payroll tax for W-2 employees. This payroll tax is going to pay a lifetime of coverage of long-term care, whether a person staying at home or they staying at a facility, $36,000. Okay, the average stay in a long-term care facility is about 4 years, and the average cost is about $300,000. So it's not even enough, the $36,000 at the state of Washington. But what's happening is, and I heard, Daniel, y'all state is next gonna follow suit and come up with something similar, and you're gonna see other states follow suit, because the state is saying we don't have the money to carry this. Now, there's some options that people can do to help alleviate. Number one is a long-term care policy. However, long-term care policies are very expensive, and with long-term care, the average age is between 40 and 60 that people buy a policy, but also strict underwriting. Okay, so a lot of people get turned down or they can't afford it, and so we see even today people who are millionaires, who've got plenty of money, and millionaires getting long-term care policies. Why? Because they realize that a health catastrophic can wipe out all their money. And so we come into this issue is going to come up where the long-term care and people, and then another thing that people don't realize with this long-term care, this end of care issue, is that the government doesn't allow you, like for example, if you got assets, they'll grab your assets. If you have to go to a state facility, people say, well, I just transfer my assets to, like, I just transfer my assets to you, Daniel. I'm the father, and you the son. I just transfer my assets. But the government doesn't allow you. They got a 5-year look back. So you got to have set those assets up 5 years prior before they not be taken. You see what I'm saying? So this is getting deeper and deeper in a bigger mess, and we just need to make preparation. And I have some options. People can do. There's one option they can do a standalone plan, which is very expensive. There's hybrid plans, and then there's an alternative plan. So if anybody listening got questions about that, just reach out to me and I'll help. I'll educate.
That's amazing. I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Stuff you don't even think about. And then I think this is the importance of this conversation as a whole, is stuff you don't think about. Maybe it's time to think about it. Maybe put it in your horizon. Stuff you're gonna have to face eventually. Whether you're not, maybe you might address it today, but you need to address it sometime in the near future, and set up and prepare for it, and make sure you're ready to handle that occurrence whenever it happens, because it's gonna happen.
It is. Yeah, I told you 70% of people over 65 gonna need some type of, and that could be in home, could be in the facility, but they're gonna need some type of care.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's a big number.
It is. It really is.
That's a very big number. Whew. That's crazy.
Scary.
Wow. Yeah, it's very scary.
Yeah.
Very, very scary. That's huge.
And healthcare is not going down. It's still increasing.
Yeah, it's still increasing. It definitely is, for sure. This is why, like, a lot of people they'll travel for healthcare just to avoid the cost from United States healthcare.
Yeah, right. Yeah, definitely. Yes.
That's crazy. Man, there's a lot of stuff to unpack with this. What is a quote that is yours or somebody else's that you resonate with?
Quote that I resonate with. Oh man, I have a few of them, but one of them is, small acts of kindness can create a big impact. And I'm a firm believer of doing kind acts for people, because you never know what somebody is going through. You could be contemplating suicide, and I can call you and say, hey man, I just called, man, to encourage you, man. Just want to check on you, see how you doing. Can I have prayer with you? And you could be like, man, today I was gonna take my life. And that one little small impact doesn't cost me money, just a little time. Now, one of the things I do, let me share this. This is one of the things I do, especially on social, especially on my Facebook. I do it on the other platform, but especially on my Facebook. So if a person have a death in the family and they put it on Facebook, I'll reach out to them, just offer my prayers and condolences. And then I'll say, hey, can I get a good mail? What's a good mailing address? And so what I do, if they post a picture of the loved one on Facebook, I take the picture, put it in a card, personalize the card, and send the card to them. Not asking for anything, not trying to sell them anything, just really just trying to be a source of encouragement. Now, what I've also done this year, so I have a system that I send these personalized cards, but what I've also done this year is they'll get a card again in 90 days. They'll get another one in 180 days. They'll get another one in 365 days. The reason why, because death is grief is a process. So when the funeral is over and everything gone, there's nobody really thinking about them. Everybody's gone with their life. And I just want to let them know that somebody's still thinking about them, during that grief process. So that's one of the things that I do, because a small act can create a big impact.
That is amazing. It's amazing. A lot of people, they don't, till you've been hit with grief in your own way, in your own life, and till it's tangible in your own life, you really understand the effects and power it can bring to individuals on an individual level. Just because life's hard.
It is. And I told you my title is Chief Encouragement Officer. I told you it's my personality.
No, that's amazing. It's amazing, because a lot of people forget.
Yeah, they do. And I mean, if when I had death in my family, I wouldn't. My mom passed. I don't charge anybody. I understand people got life and they're moving with life, but me, I just know how it is, and so I try to reach out to people. And these people, I may not even know them. We just friends are connected on Facebook, and I just know how it is when you have a loss and you're grieving. And I just want to be, encouragement. Now, there's people that have birthdays and celebrations. I send them a card also. So I try to comfort people in their losses and celebrate their wins, because everybody have loss. Lose a job, divorce, a pet, a spouse, or family members. We all have losses, and so let's encourage people and comfort people in their losses, so they won't feel like they're alone.
Yeah, yeah. I do the birthday ones. Whenever I get clients that I see it's their birthday, he's a friend of mine on Facebook, and then I'll put him a happy birthday on their stuff, and it's something I do every day. If I recognize their name as a client, I'll do happy birthday. Just because a lot of people, I mean, when you get older in age, there's less people around that you grew up with.
True.
It happens.
True.
It happens. My wife's great aunt, she was I think 97, and she all of her direct descendants and siblings and everybody was passed. So there's no one. It gets kind of lonely when you get to that age, because you're one of the last people, and everybody you knew and grew up with is gone.
That's true, and it's true. And then with that being said, Daniel, we don't go around them as much because we're so busy with our lives, and so many times the seniors are lonely. There's one senior in our church. I try to periodically, like on the weekends, I go grab early in the morning, grab him some coffee and drop some coffee off to him. He really appreciate that. And so even his family is not involved as much with him. So and I kind of put myself in the shoes when I get his age. Would I want people to come around me and do things for me? So you reap what you sow.
100%. Let's talk a little about your podcast, Troy Talks Show.
Yes.
I know you recently started this, or not recently, but you got 50 episodes out.
Yes.
Tell us a little about your podcast, where people can find it, and what's the purpose of the podcast?
Yeah, so my podcast is Troy Talks. I'm on season 3. My next episode will be my 50th episode, so I'm gonna probably do some type of celebration the 50th episode. This month I'm doing women history, so all my episodes are women. That's coming out this month, and awesome. Basically my podcast it started off as a monologue, me just sharing my insight and things, and after 10, 12 episodes, I switched to a interview style. And basically, it's kind of a general podcast, and I basically interview people, and I want them to share their story, all industry walks of life, share their story, and help them to share with my audience, different things, their experience, their education, their failure, success, tips, strategies, and to share with my audience to help them to be able to navigate their business, their life, and things like that. So it's really been exciting. It is a lot of work, but I do enjoy it. And I want to say this for people to hear this. The one thing, my podcast is not, I didn't do it for monetization. I get very, 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 very small monetization. But and one day, hopefully, it may turn to big monetization. But one of the things, the joy of satisfaction I get out of the podcast is to meet amazing people, even like Daniel, amazing people who you find out about their story, you build a relationship with. That's the joy that I get out of a podcast.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's a cool show. I enjoy being on. For everybody here, go check it out. Troy Talks podcast on all platforms, I'm sure. And it's coming out.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, you told me that. Yeah, so it's Spotify, Apple, Google, iHeart, Amazon. There's a few other ones I can't think of. Kind of on the side, I can't even think of. But it's about 8 of them I'm on. So, but the majors is Spotify and Apple.
And then you're coming out on YouTube, correct? Soon?
Yeah, I'm coming out on YouTube soon. I see where everything is going. So yes, I'll be on YouTube also.
So definitely go check it out. If you're catching this a little bit later, definitely go check it out on YouTube and Apple and Spotify for sure. And then TroyHolt.com is where people can find you for your consulting, correct?
Yes, correct. Yes. TroyHolt.com is my website. They can go there. It's a lot of videos and some educational things, some presentations on there that you go on and navigate the website. And then also, if you see something that interests you, you want to talk more, my calendar is there. You can book yourself on my calendar.
There you go. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you sharing your passions, and I hope to help make some impact with you through this show. And who knows what small impact this will make, but I hope to help impact some people, and hopefully somebody will be like, hey, I saw you on the High Brothers podcast. And
Yes.
they'll share their experience with it. I don't know. Who knows?
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you.
I appreciate your time. Please go like, share with a friend. Send us some of encouragement or some end of planning. And we hope to see you on the next episode. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming in. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Troy, for coming on.
Thanks for watching this YouTube video. We hope you found value. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell to watch more videos just like this one.